Nintendo Switch Sports was just revealed a few days ago, and there's already a ton of information about the game online and in the trailer. I've searched all over the internet to find as much info as I can about this exciting new Switch game, and in this video I'm going to share everything I found with you. Let's not waste any time and get right into everything we know so far about Nintendo Switch Sports. So Nintendo Switch Sports is an upcoming Switch game that continues the Wii Sports series under a new name. The game will have 6 sports including volleyball, badminton, bowling, tennis, chambara, which is a fancy name for swordplay, and soccer. The game is launching on April 29th of this year, but you probably knew all of that already, so let's get into some stuff you might not know. Let's start by going over some of the content found on both the official American and Japanese websites for the game. By combining the info from both websites, we can get a more in-depth look at each of the 6 sports. We can also get a better look at the new location where all the sports take place, Spoko Square. This high-quality picture from the website shows that this place is insanely detailed, and I really love the overall vibe it gives off. I'll probably always prefer Wuhu Island, and I wish that's where this game was taking place, but I'm already getting attached to Spoko Square. This place is super well designed, and I just really hope you can explore this place freely. And honestly, I don't think it's impossible since it's so highly detailed, so I'll keep crossing my fingers for a Spoko Square hub area. Getting back to the info on the individual sports, we can see these renders for the new playable characters in this game called Sportsmates. Now I know there are a lot of mixed opinions about these guys, but don't worry, you can also use your Mii like usual. I still haven't come to a solid opinion on the Sportsmates. One second they look super weird, and the next they look pretty decent. I know pretty much everyone wishes the focus was on the Miis, but don't give up on the game completely just yet. And again, you can always play as your Mii if you want to. Each sport also gets some extra gameplay clips, and the videos are pretty low quality since they're pulled straight from the website, but there's some pretty cool stuff in these clips, so let's go over them. The Chambara clip shows that you can equip different looking swords, and you can even use 2 swords at once, which is insanely cool. There also seems to be a special meter that charges up and lets you use a spin move to take out your opponent. In the bowling clip, there's this strange ramp with a hole underneath it, and that seems to add some more challenge to the sport. The soccer video shows off a golden soccer ball which scores 2 points instead of 1, and we also get a better look at the shootout mode. The tennis clip shows that you can control both the players on your team at the same time just like in the original Wii Sports, and the fastball system seems to be returning as well. During the badminton clip we can see a train moving in the background, and the volleyball clip has an elevator going up and down behind the court. I love how detailed the environments are, it really makes the game feel more polished. And for some basic information about each sport, volleyball is up to 4 players locally, and you can also play 2 players online with a friend on the same system. Badminton is a 2-player sport, and you can take turns with someone else on the same system if you're playing an online match. Bowling can be played with 4 people locally, and all the players can bowl simultaneously, which is pretty awesome. Then online matches are with 8 other players, and you can join them with 1 other person locally. Soccer can have up to 2 players locally in a 1v1 match or a 4v4, and then you can play with another person online as well if it's a 4v4 match. Chambara is a 2-player sport, but once again if you play online you can take turns with someone else on the same system. And finally there's tennis, which can be played by up to 4 players locally, and 2 players can go online together as well. And there's also golf, which will be added in an update after launch, so we don't have much info on that sport yet. I'm really happy to see there's support to play with people on the same system online. That will be a lot of fun. Scrolling down we can see some new motion control warnings that bring me right back to the good old Wii days. Here we can see that there will be a ranked mode in this game called Pro League. I'm so happy this mode is going to be in the game. It'll make it so much more replayable since you can always play online and try to improve your rank. And you also earn points by playing matches online, which can be redeemed for in-game rewards like outfits, sports accessories, gear, and much more. I don't know what much more means, but I'm really glad the rewards include stuff like sports gear and not just clothing. It also says the selection of items will rotate each week, so you can check back often to see what's in stock. Don't worry, we'll get a better look at the customization a little later. Then we can see some details for an upcoming online playtest for the game, which you actually have to register for to be able to participate. The registration opens on February 15th at 5 PM Pacific time, so make sure you sign up as soon as possible to guarantee your spot. It looks like there are going to be 5 playtest times, starting on February 18th and going through the 20th. Each one will only last about 45 minutes, so make sure you're aware of all of the times so you can play as much of the game as possible. I know I'll be jumping into all the playtest times and getting some gameplay so I can make a first impressions video. Next we can see what the physical version of Nintendo Switch Sports looks like, and holy crap, that is some incredible looking box art. So it seems like the physical version will cost a full $60 US, and comes packaged with a leg strap for soccer, but if you buy the digital version it's only $40. I actually already have a leg strap because of Ring Fit Adventure, but I'm totally buying the physical anyway just so I can display the beautiful box. Moving on to a press release posted by Nintendo of Japan, we can get even more interesting info. Now I can't read Japanese, but luckily there's a lot of pictures, and the magic of Google Translate can also help out. The press release starts with some basic info about the 6 sports available to play, and if we look down here at the fine print, we can see that you'll need a regular Switch or Switch OLED model to play this game, and the Switch Lite doesn't seem to be supported. This kind of makes sense because the game relies on motion controls so heavily, but it's still really disappointing because there are a ton of people out there who only have a Switch Lite. This is just me guessing, but I think you'll be able to play the game on Switch Lite if you connect some Joy-Cons separately and play it in tabletop mode, but it does seem like handheld mode won't be supported, which is a bummer. Moving on, it talks about how you can play online with players all over the world, which of course you'll need Nintendo Switch Online to do. Here we can see a more in-depth look at the many different customization options for your avatar. There are 4 tabs at the top here, one for shirts, hats, glasses, and what looks like a face mask. It's also possible there could be even more tabs beyond this one using L and R at the top of the screen. One small concern I have is how much customization you can do if you're using a Mii instead of a Sportsmate. There doesn't seem to be any info on this yet, but in games like Go Vacation, you can't equip any headgear items at all, which really stinks, and I hope that's not the case here. And just below that we can see this image with some Sportsmates all dressed up in some fancy clothing, including this weird squirrel outfit. I'm glad this game seems to have a large variety of customization options. Scrolling down shows us a graph that shows off the Pro League ranking system. It seems like you start all the way down at E rank and will have to work your way up from there. Then we can see the plan for 2 free updates after launch, including one in the summer adding support for the Joy-Con leg strap, and one in the fall adding in golf as the 7th sport. The way this is worded kind of sounds like they're only planning 2 updates, but I'm guessing that's due to translation and not anything else. Then we get some more info about the upcoming online playtest for this game, where we can see the 3 sports that will be playable, which are tennis, bowling, and chambara. We can also see that the matchmaking will just be between random test participants and you won't be able to play with your friends just yet. And that's pretty much all the information from the websites and Japanese press release. So now let's take another look at the reveal trailer and try to figure out as much as we can. First off, we can see what appears to be the main menu, with 3 big modes. First, there's online play that is 1 to 2 players, and this is where you earn points to get items. It seems like the overall main focus of this game is playing the sports online, which is pretty exciting. I can't tell yet if there will be a casual online mode, or if it's only the Pro League ranked matches. Next we have local play, which is pretty much the classic Wii Sports experience, where you get a bunch of your friends and family into the same room and play together. This mode supports 1 to 4 players. And last, there's the option to play online with your friends, which I'm really glad is an option since games like Mario Maker 2 launched without the ability to play directly with your friends. Although I doubt you'll be able to earn points from playing with friends, since you could easily build up a ton of points by doing that. Next, we get an overhead shot of one of the tennis courts, then a shot of the bowling alley, and there seems to be a shop called Strike over in the corner. I really hope that's an actual shop and not just a decoration. And here's a look at the Chambara Arena. I really love the visual design of this place. Again, these environments are so highly detailed that it makes me really hope they're explorable. Then we get some gameplay of tennis, and the thing that stands out to me the most is how smooth the animations are. I know everyone is still angry at the Sportsmates for taking the spotlight from the Miis, but at least they have some really great animations and seem to be very polished. Bowling looks pretty standard, and we can see the new Spoko Square logo above the pins, on the bowling ball, and on the pins themselves. This logo shows up everywhere. It's even on the bottom of the shoes in the game. Next is some Chambara gameplay, and there are some people watching you down here on this couch. And this guy is even enjoying a nice ice cream cone. Here's a shot of the soccer stadium with some gorgeous palm trees. Then a shot of the badminton court, which seems to be in a type of mall location. There's a skywalk up above and some companies below, including Mountain Co., Crepe, and one I can't quite make out. Again, I'm not sure if these will be actual shops in the game or just background decorations. And next is one of my favorite shots in the whole trailer, a look at the volleyball court. It looks like it's in a similar mall location as badminton was, and man, this shot is just so beautiful. There's a cozy library cafe in this glass building behind the court, and an escalator leading down to what looks like some sort of art museum. I love how much plant life is in this area. Here's some soccer gameplay, and off to the right we can see this elevator going up and down. Also, just look at how detailed the animation is when this guy falls on the ground. I'm loving how polished this game feels. In the badminton gameplay we can see an ice cream shop off to the side called Ice Cream Volley. Maybe that's where the guy from before got his ice cream cone. There's also a shop called Cafe Buttons to the left, which is the company from before I couldn't identify. It's so great that all the sports take place in the same place. It's exactly that sort of stuff that made Wuhu Island such a special location. Here's a shot of the Spoko Square menu screen, where we can see the volleyball building, badminton courts, bowling alley, tennis courts, swordplay arena, and the soccer stadium. There's also what looks like an XP wheel in the top right corner. I'm guessing you earn XP from online matches, and will get a reward once it fills up. Strangely, there doesn't seem to be a place for golf yet, so maybe there will be some expansions to Spoko Square as extra content is added. Next we get a look at some online bowling matches, where it seems to be some sort of survival mode. There's a total of 16 players, and it's worth mentioning that some of them have the names from previous CPU Miis in Wii Sports games, like Abby, Alex, and Tatsuke, although they don't look much like their previous versions. You can also use little stickers by pressing the R button, and above the bowling pins you can see who is winning, which is a cool little detail. And here we have the win screen for the bowling survival game, with all the other players clapping in the background. Then we see the release date of April 29th, and then there's some info on the updates, including one that adds support for the Joy-Con leg strap for normal matches. I guess you can only use the leg strap for shootout matches at launch. Then we get a look at the golf update, which doesn't seem to be anywhere near Spoko Square. We can see that this game is going to have the same classic golf courses from the original Wii Sports. This one here is Hole 5, and I'm also really hoping they include the resort holes. There's also a blimp flying in the sky, which makes me miss Woohoo Island even more. There's an end screen for the online playtest, and that's it for the reveal trailer. Now let's quickly look at the gameplay segment from the Direct, where we actually get to see the Miis in action. It looks like the Mii's faces are just put on top of a normal Sportsmate's body, which honestly I'm fine with. I know people are missing the floating ball hands from Wii Sports, but it makes sense that they had to update the designs for the new game. And because the animations are so detailed and polished, I really think it's an upgrade. There's not anything too interesting in this gameplay, although we do get to see what looks like a replay system, which I'm really glad is returning. And that's all the information I could find on Nintendo Switch Sports. There were some really cool details I was able to dig up, like dual-wielding swords, a better look at the customization system and ranked mode, and some cool little details in the background environments. There was also the disappointing news that the game isn't playable on a Switch Lite. But overall, I'm feeling a lot more positive about this game now that I've learned more about it. It isn't exactly what I wanted, but there's a lot to be excited about here, and honestly, I'm just so glad to see this series return in any way on the Switch. But I totally understand if you're personally disappointed by the game. It's definitely a big change from the classic Wii Sports games we all know and love. Hopefully you found all this information interesting. It's pretty crazy that the online playtest is just next week. I can't believe I'll actually be playing this game so soon. Like I said, I'll be recording my gameplay of the online test and talking about my overall impressions of the game. Plus, I'm sure there will be a whole bunch of new information to talk about once the playtest is over. Probably the biggest thing I'm hoping for right now is that you can explore Spoko Square in a 3D space, but I don't know how likely that actually is. Anyways, that's about all I've got for this one, so thanks for watching guys, and I'll see ya in the next one.